Porter, and it's going to be a very interesting show this week because a lot of people are on the road, including myself. I hope we can hang on to this connection. I had some difficulties setting up initially, but this week again, we're going to be talking about probably the most important thing to talk about in terms of becoming natural again is becoming also a sovereign person. And I have three of the top minds, I think, on this planet with me again. Neko, Zeeko, and Zeeka, I should say. Neko, Zeeka, and David. William. David, how you doing?
All right. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm hoping we'll hang in. I hope we'll have a good signal today. And Zeeka, how you doing?
Amazing.
Amazing. Oh yeah, I can't wait to share with the audience what's going on with you guys. And Neko.
Yeah, outstanding. How's it going, Brian?
Oh wow, you guys sound fantastic.
Okay.
I'm dealing with, I think, a lower than normal bandwidth here where I'm staying in this hotel, so I just shut everything else off. I think that's what's going to help. So let's hope we don't have any technical issues. So anyways, maybe we should just give people a little bit of a rundown on, because, people listen, they find the show, they've never heard of the whole issue of sovereignty. Who wants to take up just a real quick summary of what it is to become a sovereign person on this planet? Because most of us are stuck in this matrix called, that was developed.
Well, let's both tell our sides what we think it is. What do you think it is, Dave? What sovereignty mean to you?
You there, David?
Is Dave still there?
I am.
Did you hear the question?
I'm hearing all types of all effect problems suddenly.
Yeah, we're having some echoing too.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it'll pass.
Yeah, I find initially sometimes it takes a while for the Skype to catch up. Usually the signal gets better. Yeah, so what would you say it is to be sovereign, David?
Well, it's to be one of the people and not encumbered by contract or any type of connection to the wrong status. You don't want to be a subject or a citizen, which would be someone with the oath or allegiance to something other than, if you want to be a citizen of the United States or a citizen or a subject of the crown, that comes at a great price. So you sacrifice your rights for benefits, as the trap goes. So you don't have a status as a living man if you're a citizen. You're known as the dead guy, especially in the probate world. A dead man has no standing in law. How could he stand? He's dead.
All right. Okay, that's a good definition. I like that one. And
that's pretty good. How could he stand? He's dead. I like that. Very much.
That's right.
Yeah,
well,
okay.
I think that's primal.
Yeah. So. And then you said something. You remember last time, Brian? You said, "Okay," and then here these guys are residents of here, and we said, "Oh, you can't say resident." And then this time you said sovereign persons. Well, you can't say person if you're sovereign because a person is not sovereign. A person is the corporation.
Which is also a dead man.
That they will pretend is a human. It's not the same thing. So a sovereign is basically in the private. And private law means man to man. And then you've got public law. And that means, man to public or public to public. And a sovereign really doesn't want to be anything to do with the public. You don't create public controversies and you don't enter them. And you squash them, you get out of there, and you go back to the private, man to man, and that's what it's pretty much staying private, protecting yourself.
Okay. Sounds okay. So, are you guys agreeing, or do you see a difference in your definitions?
No, absolutely the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, outsiders didn't realize that was the same thing because our lingo is all far out.
Yeah.
Well, it's similar. David said
Yeah.
something about not having no contract, but you guys actually say you have to establish you have to find a way to create your own um, laws, your own freedom. By actually, don't you? Are
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
a contract in what you're doing?
it's about it's about avoiding contracts that don't serve you and creating contracts that do. So yeah, it's
Okay.
everything is contract law in this world, and you have to know how to navigate the landmines because they've got you in all these hidden contracts that you don't even know about. For instance, calling you a person, you don't even realize that you're this corporation. When different things that you just have to learn how to navigate what words they're using to get you into tricky contracts, and then avoid those and make new ones.
All right. Now let's get down some contact information to the listener here. David, how do people contact you to get your advice on sovereign issues?
Well, I don't give advice on that. I have a lot of things I put up online as general information.
Yeah, well, to read your posts or you've got something like 42 different Facebook pages.
Well, 36, I think.
36.
Yeah. A lot of them are different types of, they're private secret pages only because they're there to hold information. You know what I'm saying? I have different types of information in different categories.
Well, you're involved in a lot of interesting issues and a lot of.
Well, I'm finding that they all point in one direction. Like what's your subject matter tonight? You're talking about sovereignty, right? Well, really, who's trying to take that from you? That's what I want to talk about. Who's trying to take that from you? Why are we all worried about what does it mean to be a sovereign? Well, suddenly, it's subject. It is really getting a lot of mileage nowadays. This subject. Excuse me. Grammatical error.
I was getting my tires changed, and I was talking to some people sitting down there in the shop there, and they seem. I said, "Wouldn't you like to live in a situation where you didn't have to pay income tax?" They just really their ears really perked up. So yeah, this is an interesting subject because people think that you're actually completely extricating yourself from the system, but all you're doing is you're actually saying, "No, I want no part of this system, but I can still." Now, this is the interesting part about what Neko and Zeeka are saying, is that you can still get the benefits of the system and still become private or sovereign. It's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you guys there still, Neko and Zeeka?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just heard them.
He just said exactly, yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, okay. I thought you might say something about it. All right. Because that's the part that a lot of people I think are missing, and I'm certainly learning. I'm on my own learning curve on this issue because I'm a natural person, I want to have all the same rights as the animals do. And I don't see anybody telling them what to do or where to go or what to do unless you're in a zoo or something. So, I want to be free as possible, but I also want to fit in. Nature is the only thing I think you have to respect beyond beyond any limits. I mean, first comes the mother, and then after that, I mean, we should be free to enjoy this beautiful world as long as we respect other people's right to do the same. I mean, there really isn't too much law or limitations put on anything. Does that make sense?
Well said, yes. That's a great analogy about the animals. I love that.
I see the birds.
No one's
flying
telling them
around.
what to do.
I see the birds
Yeah.
flying around there, whatever, looking for food, or some of them look like they're just having a good time. And I'm saying, God, I mean, why aren't humans living that way? Don't we know how to grow food?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, so we've got a lot of things going on. That we're doing a lot of stuff, and who are we doing it for? It isn't certainly for us. It's to the benefit of a few, and they're the ones that have set up this legal matrix that more and more people are trying to figure out. So, anyways, I want to get to a specific topic. We'll get to David's issue about who's doing all this finagling, but I want to know, David did something brilliant. And David actually is brilliant. This guy knows more about the history of law than anybody I've ever met. You said you shut down the legal services department in the state of Michigan for a few days, and you challenged their jurisdiction. Not too many people would have the balls to do that. So, David, how is that battle going with the legal services in the state of Michigan?
Well, it's not a battle really. It's not a court. It's not a government. You're dealing with a corporation and their mafia. It's a banking mafia. It's a bankruptcy deal. Those aren't courts. They're banks. They trade in counterfeited securities.
Well, they present themselves as courts.
Well, exactly. But what happens is you get numb to thinking that, and you have to continue to remind yourself that they're pirates dressed as if they're a government official. All they are is a governmental service, and it's under the IMF. United States is under UN IMF organization and has been for quite a while. So the IMF now has total over position, it seems, I could say it that way, over United States. Because the United States is just a bankrupt, belly-up corporation. It's gone under 3 times. 3 times, 3 70-year periods. Oh, all done.
Interesting pattern.
Yeah. So, right. So what you have is these people controlling everything who want total control of you so they can control the land. And that's the part that people are going to freak out about when it actually does come crumbling, is that they don't own their land. They don't even know that not only didn't they own it for a while when the Western European banks were in control of it. Now they're going to find out their new landlord has a 70-year lease from China. So there's the sovereignty problem, right? People who are not connected to this tax liability for them to plunder. So very important that people correct their political status. I mean, the word sovereign is a subject matter, but we don't go around calling ourselves sovereigns. We're the people. You know, the sovereignty lies in the people. It's not like people should go around saying, you know, I'm a sovereign. Plus, you hear this rhetoric all the time from the police about, are you a sovereign citizen? And then you know that the police are being trained by people who, well, they're teaching the police that sovereigns are bad. And their sovereign citizens are radical right-wing terrorists and they're a threat to your existence and all that. You know, they make up this stuff, always tangent to truth, but not actually true.
I hear there's some nasty stuff about sovereignty on Wikipedia.
Well, Wikipedia, we'll look at that organization, period, you know. I wouldn't compare them to Snopes, but they're somewhere in between Snopes and the real world. I know I'm not on that side of the fence, so, you know, Wikipedia has a lot of BS factor, yeah.
Yeah, because I had a friend who's he's a good guy. But he believes in the UN and these sorts of things, and he sent me a link to what it was saying about the sovereign movement. It actually makes it sound like it's almost like a violent organization, which is it couldn't be anything further from the truth.
Well, people who fear themselves that the people shouldn't be in charge, these statists, those are they don't even know how destructive they are to themselves, never mind to others. So it's very difficult to communicate with that personality type. You have to deal with them in political arenas, like when you go to a state house or a courthouse, especially at the state house, though. Legislative office building meetings, committee hearings, what have you. Dealing with them is a chore. Because nothing is logical, nothing is based upon, up, down, mathematical, right, wrong. There's nothing that actually gets through, And
So, David, let's try to concretize this discussion. Explain to the listener what happened in Michigan and where it's at now.
well, where it's at is there.
No, but what happened to go to the back, because we're assuming that people didn't listen to this show last week or when we talked about it, or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. Give us some background.
Well, it's a case about a guy who had a permit license to grow, as they call it, marijuana, medical marijuana, and an example of just what kind of slime bags these people are. They tried to keep from the jury that he had a permit to do it, and that's just one really ridiculous part of it. And the only reason I threw that one in there is because it's self-explanatory, and hopefully you'll believe the facts that there are a lot of other similarly amazing truths about the corruption and filth in these things that appear as courts and what they did to this guy. So now, imagine yourself, the jury, and you see this guy, he walks in and you don't know anything about him, and you hear the prosecutor describe him as Charles Manson or something. And they're listening to it, and then they're listening to the guy on the bench, the administrator, in this mock military tribunal, describe the definition of firearm in totally incorrect way, and other things. I could go on and on, but that would turn into the whole time of talking.
Were you present at this hearing?
I was present at 3 of them. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you functioned as an advisor to this person, or were you just listening?
Well, at the court hearing itself, all I could do is just sit there and observe.
Okay.
I had taken on no capacity as an interested party in this whole situation. So,
okay.
I know him. I could tell you from knowing him, you could clearly see that this guy is getting hosed.
Right. Well, where did the jurisdictional challenge come in? When did you do that? Did you do that outside of the quote courthouse?
Yeah, that was done in the U.S. court.
Okay.
It's the U.S. court that didn't want to play ball.
So you made use your legal jargon here. What did you actually do to get them shut down for 2 days?
I challenged jurisdiction. They don't have. Let me search my brain here for a second. How do you explain this to people? Look, I'm going to try it again. And this is no reflection on anything other than me trying to search my mind here.
Keep it simple.
You have a group of actors. You're going to the theater in your town, your city, and you're there watching a show, and that's what it is. So it's a big deception. These courts do not have anything to do with you. They're not supposed to have anything to do with you. So they come along, and it's very similar to, say, the security at Burger King gets in their Burger King mobile and drives over to McDonald's and walks in and grabs a couple of McDonald's patrons and says, "Hey, you're not wearing the Burger King uniform," and trying to hold you in contract to them. Okay? And they won't, and that's all they are, is a private corporation. It's just a private entity that has nothing to do with you. You can't have police pulling you over and telling you that you have to pay them money. And the fact that they do that it's outrageous, yes, but the people are letting them do that. So what I'm trying to say is you have a court system of foreign Middle Temple, Crown Temple bar attorneys coming over here and telling you that you owe them something. And they're taking you to their court. And they want to attach your estate trust that was created when you were born. Okay? So they're trying to take total control over your body by you being that estate trust that they created. So they're trying to hold you to it. Because they want you to perform and pay taxes and generate Federal Reserve fiat. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They're all your wardens and your captors and your, oh boy. So the people are letting these courts come along and say, oh, well, you broke an ordinance or a statute or a code or a rule or a regulation, as if these rules apply to you. They don't apply to you. You're not a state employee. So what they're doing is they're blackmailing you into the position of a state employee. And that's why they have the state of is the injured party or the plaintiff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because you work for the state. You got a driver's license. You registered your car. You gave them what they wanted. Granted, they do it through coercion, but ultimately the people have lost it, because if everyone prosecuted all of the courts for doing this every day, it would be over within 2 weeks, I think.
So where is this? Where is your this case at? Your challenge on jurisdiction have you received a written response from them?
Oh, finally, the county said that they rebutted it and lied, and then the upper court pretended to believe the lie. Okay.
That's it? You're not appealing anything? You're not going to go further?
Appealing? No. That's not going to be appealed. That's going to be added to the prosecution that's coming up. Because that case is opened up in the federal court and it's based upon fraud. So now, because they did the following stupid thing, they get dragged into it. So the clerk of the court, of the U.S. District Court, is responsible, not the judge. They all work under the clerk. The clerk isn't the stooge, the judge is.
Okay, so this matter is still moving ahead.
Oh, well, it's moving. It's not going anywhere for a long time. See, this is all part of putting the people who are the wrongdoers on the big treadmill. You have to get them going now in their own problem. So what you do is you generate the lawsuit against them in the federal court.
Okay. Are you representing yourself in this, or
I'm not representing anybody or anything. This is basically what's happening. It's in the federal court.
Okay, but are you? Is this David William doing this, or
I'm not the one.
or is it the other guy who's been?
He's in jail. They jailed him.
Oh God.
Right. These people are crazy. The problem is the public believes that if you're in trouble with them, that you're in trouble, you did something wrong.
Yeah, I know.
The public is they're in serious need of alertness therapy.
Resuscitation.
Maybe some carbonated seltzer water with it. Something to bubble up something. Because I'll tell you, the population in general still, my gosh, they're barely catching on.
Neko
But-
and Zeeka, do you have any questions for David?
Oh, that's about. So you're saying that the guy that they didn't listen to crap, and then the guy went to jail? Is that what happened?
Right. So what the U.S. court did was they denied him his demand for jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, it's so insane because they have to. I mean, literally, they've got the duty to put jurisdiction on the record. It's very frustrating.
Well, they have to because they're going to get prosecuted along with the guy in the lower court. See, that's the whole thing. You prosecute all of them because that's exactly what they need because they're all committing piracy, barratry, impressment, coercion, blackmail, conspiracy.
Fraud.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's intertwined through everything.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
definitely go back now that you know there's only so much time to go back and do it, but go back in and make sure that you dishonor the order from the judge and make sure you put on there, you know, I dishonor this instrument under 3-503, 3-504, and 3-505, and then I'll send it to you later.
Good idea.
And you
Yeah.
sign it as an agent.
Well, at least it should go
but
on
make
the.
sure that's dishonored.
Yeah, that should
At
go
least
on.
it's on the record that he dishonored it, you know.
Yes, because
Yeah, they're
that's what
frustrating.
matters.
They're super frustrating.
Yeah, you gotta
Mhm.
you gotta just remember you're not there to talk to the jackass in the black robe. You're talking to the record.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. The guy in
The
the
court-
black robe is just a moron, and he's a creep. Otherwise, he wouldn't have got the job. I know that
Well, they're
sounds
just
odd
another
in
bar
general, but
association
it's-
shyster, anyways. The guy in the black robe.
Well, right. Well, it's not.
He's got
broad
tennis
general,
shoes
it's
and jeans
narrow.
on underneath that robe.
Yeah, it's narrow and surgically accurate. If you're a Crown Temple bar attorney in a black robe, odds are excellent that you're 99% criminal. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have absolutely nothing good to say for them.
We're all socialized and taught to look up to these people.
Well, you're trained because they're all through the education system.
I mean,
And they're trained to look very authoritative and then get kind of angry if you start asking questions, and they're trained to railroad you. So it's very hard to stand up there. You know, when people go into court and they're not, you know, when lawyers go into court, they've got mock court first. So then they go to school, and then the school holds a mock court. And then they can stand up there and learn their little phrases and the lingos, and they've got it down. And then by the time they got it down, then they go do their first trial or their first run. When people get dragged into court, oh, you like this guy, he said he's growing some herbs or something. He gets dragged into court. He's not been to mock trial. He's probably not read all their rules. He doesn't know what's going on. It's like being thrown into a foreign land and being demanded to speak the language, which is literally a different language. So legalese is not the same as English, and they're using the same words. So then people get tripped up. You know, are you that person? Oh, yeah, that's me. Well, you're not the person. And all these words, they've got, are you resident? All these words, and it's just a big game. It's very frustrating.
Yes, it is.
Well, that stinks. We were hoping that they would have honored the jurisdictional thing this week when you came back on.
No.
Yeah.
What it is they don't have any idea now what's ahead. I think that's what it is. I think that they're probably going to expect someone would go to one of their courts and file something against them or something, which that happens anyway. But I don't think that they're going to be ready for what happens to them in the private because
Now,
they
what
act.
if you
they
do
act-
a common law court and open it back up as the injured as the injured party and bring in a claim?
It hasn't closed because it's all fraud. As long as it's
No, I'm not
based on
saying in their court. I'm not saying in their court or their case. I'm saying opening up a secondary court, not counterclaiming it, but coming in with a different claim,
correct.
saying I'm injured. This is ridiculous. I was never given jurisdiction, and then slap one down in a common law court,
Like an Article 3 court.
like
Well,
a court
that's-
of record.
That's absolutely correct. So,
I would try that. I would dishonor it and
well,
come
you
back
would
in
have
with
to
a
do
claim
that
immediately.
anyway. You'd have to do
And
that.
habeas corpus.
Well,
Yeah, you could test the
exactly.
proceedings with habeas corpus.
Well, I'm working
So-
on the habeas corpus now.
okay, can you
Yeah. So for the
you guys
listeners, so for the listeners,
Can you guys sort of
Oh, sorry.
explain
I
it?
was just going to say that. So for the listeners that don't know what habeas corpus is, it's one of the oldest writs, which is a remedy for people who've been wrongly arrested. And what you do is you put in a motion for it's not a motion. You don't motion or petition. It's supposed to be a petition, but you don't put in a petition. You do a habeas corpus, a writ of habeas corpus, and you'll write the writ of habeas corpus. They'll tell you to put in a petition, but a sovereign does not petition. You only put in a writ. So you'll put in a writ of habeas corpus, and you are the prosecutor. And you have to know how to move it because they'll come in and say the whole shindigs up, and they'll come do these things. But really, you were supposed to be the prosecutor. And what you do is you demand them to show that jurisdiction and things like that because they've got some issues with their case. And he's in jail
Yes.
wrongly. He needs to come in with habeas corpus immediately.
Yes. Well, that's what's happening now. Is the
Yeah,
rate.
it's frustrating. Yeah, so
Right.
for everybody out there, remember habeas corpus. If anybody you know gets arrested, and you can put it in for your friends. Oh, my friend went to jail. Well, I'll sign it for him, and I'll send it off.
You be the prosecutor, and it's called the Great Writ.
Yeah.
I think what they need to remember is how to contact you guys, because this is this is a lot to know on your own. You guys have
It
been
is a lot.
studying this stuff for I think your lifetimes. And I know David's
It is a
done
lot.
this for like 30 years. You guys are newer to the game, but you seem to really know what's going on. So I think the key is just to know people like you and to study and to listen to your advice.
That is true.
I wouldn't
mean-
want to go into court and issue a writ of habeas corpus without first doing a lot of homework.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty simple. A writ of habeas corpus is pretty small. It's not like a whole huge court case. You pretty
Well,
much
the
hold them to
memorandum of
whatever's
law.
the problem.
The memorandum
That's probably the
of
biggest
law
thing in there.
was totally ignored. And
Yeah.
so what that means is now that they're all defendants or the wrongdoers.
What was ignored, David?
Yeah.
I missed that. I'm getting a high pitched sound. Are you guys hearing that?
It could be all these bugs. We've got a bunch of crickets. We're at a raw food retreat right now in Costa Rica, and there's a bunch of chirp crickets. It's really like cicadas kind of things.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Is that what that is?
This
Here,
is
I'm gonna mute it. Tell me if it goes away. Oh, we just found out those are tree frogs.
oh, is that what that is? Tree.
Apparently, I guess they're pretty loud. Yep.
You're deep in the
Kind of sounds
jungle.
like electrical.
You're deep in the jungle.
Yep, we are.
Are
With
you,
our technology.
are you in a tree house?
But what?
Are you in a tree house?
Almost.
We're almost in a tree house. It's a really cool bamboo style clubhouse. Pretty,
Rustic rancho.
yeah, rustico is what they call it down here. Rancho.
Beautiful.
Open air.
Kind of looks like Swiss Family Robinson or something.
Yeah,
Robinson
we're in a Swiss
Crusoe.
Family Robinson house right now.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Very
It is cool.
So Dave,
Yeah, this is one of the. Yeah, I was gonna say this is one of the lands that got put into alloidium down here. So we're in one of the alloidial sovereign lands down here in Costa
I
Rica.
want to get into that in the second half because
Yeah.
this is, and I want to go through it slowly so people sort of get a grip on this because this, to me, what you're doing with your friend there is I think one of the key ways to maximize our freedom on this planet because more and more people have to do what you guys are doing. It's just fantastic. But let's finish this thing with David on this jurisdictional issue. So David, are you waiting for a response from them, or what's the next step?
No. See, this is a science project for a bunch of people. This particular case is going to easily prove all of the crimes that the court's committing. That's the whole thing that's going to happen here.
Okay.
Every single thing that happens is going to be prosecuted and put in affidavits because the guys in the benches are acting outside of their professional capacities. When they're doing what they're doing, they're not acting as bankruptcy administrators, trustees. They're not doing their job. What they're doing is it's called enticement to slavery, impressment to barratry. It's god awful stuff.
So all this talk about slavery's dead and gone is a bunch of BS.
Well,
We're
it's
all
getting
basically
worse
slaves.
because the people are giving into it. People are crazy, quite honestly.
Or
The people are
uninformed.
just nuts crazy. You know, if you send or if you take federal money for your police department, you are going to be using Israeli funded, DHS approved police training. Okay? So, how dumb are the people? Any ideas?
I don't think too many have any idea that their birth certificate basically makes a slave out of them, a corporate slave to a bigger corporation.
Well,
Owns them, basically owns them. Most of us are owned unless we've taken these legal steps to become what some call sovereign. We're basically owned. And everything we think we own is owned by them as well. So it's a huge conceptual and legal kind of web, right? It's almost like living in a spider web and not even knowing it. And then to see past it, David, is hard. There's just so much rewiring required in the brain that most people can't see past it. And they meet someone like you or Neko and Zeeka, and they think, oh, these people are from another planet.
you might be right.
They could be right.
They might
Well,
be right.
yeah, we're domiciled in a different land. Yeah, I remember the first time we looked at our birth certificates, and I remember looking at the bottom, and it said American banknote, and then the other birth certificate said Pacific banknote. So, oh, your birth certificate's different banknote than my birth certificate. And then I remember finally being able to go and look them up and see them bundled with all the other birth certificates and being traded as commodities, as
Walking sureties.
bonds. Yeah, we're made the surety, and then you find out, well, what's their reasoning for this? And you could see that they literally put on our tax dollars.
Where did you find this trust or where all the birth certificates are being traded?
They're not able to go and really look them up right now on Fidelity, but before, like a year and a half ago, you could look up your birth certificates on Fidelity.com. And now they've kind of rerouted. You could probably still look it up. Now it's easier with the CUSIP number. You go get like a bond, a broker to go get you your CUSIP number, and you can definitely go look it up that way.
Your what number?
Your CUSIP, CUSSIP, CUSIP number. Yeah.
Is that a short form for something else?
Yeah, it's a securitization number for whatever happens. Every negotiable instrument that's of substance has a CUSIP number.
Ah. Yeah. Okay. Good. New today.
Oh.
Well, like
Neko
people have those they have them in foreclosures. And people don't realize, hey, if that CUSIP number is on the mortgage, I'm using that term very in quotation marks, that shows that the house was paid for by you, by the way, that day. Everything for you was prepaid. That's what they're doing, is keeping you from having access to your estate because they're stealing it. Okay?
That is true, yes.
Right. You paid for your house. That's what the CUSIP number is all about. You're the secure creditor. So they use
signature.
Yeah. The signature
is mine.
Yeah, the signature is as Patrick Devine puts it, is the shadow of the autograph. And that's very true. So what they do is they use that signature as a reason to propagate more. And you don't have the right to give them that authority, so they can't blame you for that. Because if you look at a mortgage foreclosure, and then you look at the actual paperwork, you'll see that they ask you permission to check a box, that you give them permission to make as many copies as they want of your original instrument. So they're propagating the derivatives from your permission. It's a lease agreement. And it's a construct. It's a construction loan, basically. It's just a construct. So they created all of this stuff out of your energy without telling you. And no matter what you do, they stick with stealing the land. So what you have to do is you have to go after the people who are doing it and make them pay for your next land. You know, instead of just fighting them at the bank, you go after them, period.
So this case that you're working on now, this jurisdictional case, David, how long do you think it's going to take to be resolved? Or
I don't know the answer to that, but all I know is I would keep them on the treadmill forever.
guesstimate?
Forever for them. For them, you always keep them on the treadmill because they're criminals. They can't be let off.
Neko and Zeeka, what do you think? Oh, we got Bruce McDonald coming in here.
I try not to fight with people forever myself. But I mean, it sounds really tiresome. But I think that he should put in a claim and try to come in with his own court and demand what jurisdiction there was in the other court, because somewhere it's got to be dealt with. I mean, if somebody's in jail, it has to be dealt with. That's what
Well,
I think.
that's obvious fact. Yeah, definitely fact.
Okay.
But I mean, with me, I would hope that it would end soon. That I'm gonna get some kind of remedy. I really would. I would try to actually end it. And then if I was in jail, if it found out, okay, there was no jurisdiction, there's a problem, then I would be coming back later with a different case saying, well, and then you guys dropped the case, and then you guys showed that there was no jurisdiction, and now I want some money. But that would be secondary to get it off my back. If somebody's in jail, I got to get rid of the thing.
Okay, I just want to give a message to someone who's trying to call in. Bruce McDonald is trying to join us. Unfortunately, my Skype is kind of messed up right now. I'm probably going to dump you guys on the break and pick you back up after, because my Skype's not working right. But he's trying to
see if Bruce can come on.
Bruce, can I add him to the conversation? He's probably texting me wanting to say something or ask a question.
Yeah, Bruce
because
does
I
all
can't
kinds of
see him on my Skype right now. I can't. So, do you guys mind if I add him?
No, I'd be happy to.
Okay, let's just bring him in here. Hopefully, I won't lose everybody by doing this from this lousy connection I've got here. Does anybody see Bruce? Oh, I see.
Yeah, I just saying.
No.
Are you there, Bruce?
Yes. Greetings, people of
Hi,
Earth.
Bruce.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Good to hear your voice.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry,
in,
Bruce. My Skype's not quite presenting itself right. I can't seem to figure out what the problem is, so I couldn't see. Were you sending me messages?
I did send a couple texts. Yes, I was hesitant to call. I didn't know. I thought this was a show you did a month and a half ago, and you were traveling and put on a repeat.
Oh, okay. I have had these guys on. I think this is my third time.
Yeah.
No, this is live original content.
Okay. Yes. Well, I'll just try and fit into the flow of conversation. Please proceed.
Oh, okay. So you don't have a question. You just wanted to clarify whether or not this was a live show or whether it was a recording.
Either or, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, you can hang in there in the background if you want. No
Thank
problem. So, So, Zeeka, you were saying about this case. You're saying you want to basically hang in there until this guy gets out of jail. Is that your advice?
So I'm saying that if somebody's in jail and somebody believes that he's in there incorrectly, then somebody needs to, and that, let's say their case, they've got one case because they brought it against this guy. Okay. And that's one case, but he needs to come in a separate, I would come in a court of record in a common law court with my claim and say, I'm in jail, man. My habeas corpus, I'm going to throw in anything I can to try to get the person out of jail, but I'm not going to try to create any ripples or anything angry or anything against anybody. I'm going to just say I need some remedy, or this guy needs some remedy. And then once that's solved, then I would come in and say, well, look, it got dropped. You guys are going to owe me some money now. There's a problem. You guys had me in jail for no reason. I
I lost work. There's all these problems, you know. But our method is we like to keep things very simple. We don't like to fight against anything. Our whole motto is working with and not against. You know, I'm not best friends with the government, but I'm also not their enemy, you know. And so that's where we're at. We just like to have remedy. Those courts are there for our remedy. And people go into the damn wrong case, arguing in their case that they've got against you, and then when you argue in their case, you're only a defendant, and a defendant has no rights. It's kind of how David was saying earlier. If you don't have any, see, a debtor has no rights, a dead man has no rights, a defendant has no rights. They're nobody. The plaintiff has all the rights. So what you do is you come back in as a plaintiff in your own claim, and now we've got to talk about your claim. And so that's our whole method, is trying to keep it simple and get in and out. We really don't like court. I try to avoid that damn place. That place sucks. It's my least favorite place in the world. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, David,
Yeah. I mean, there's,
what do
you know.
what do
Yeah.
you say to that, David? What do you say to those comments?
Nothing. I mean, that has to be done. But I think importantly to add to that would be to say that the fact that you're putting in your own claim is separate and aside from any counterclaim in the other direction. You must come in with your own claim.
No counterclaim. Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
counterclaiming is going to be in their same court, and you can do that. People, anybody listening, you can counterclaim a claim. I mean, their claim. That's fine.
You
but,
want it just for
really
discovery
claim.
purposes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
Because they'll understand that rule. Gee, I better answer
Yeah.
this.
Mm-hmm.
You have
Yeah,
to
that's true.
when you have to talk chimpanzee. Nothing bad about chimpanzee.
Well, David, are you trying to get this guy out of jail? Is that why you're involved in this case?
Yeah, because I'm watching a travesty. Basically, all they're doing is violating law. They're completely. What they're doing is really high crimes. Instead of coming up with fancy jargon, they're very high crimes. Very high crimes. What they're doing. It's a foreign Crown Temple bar.
This whole
Bankruptcy administrators in here telling you that
Yeah.
you are a surety for their debt. Okay, that's what they're telling you. You're their
surety?
slave.
Okay, break it down now. What does surety mean?
Well, they're holding you as collateral
Okay.
for a bankruptcy. It's all taxation. There's no bloody
And that's
traffic.
bankruptcy that happened 70 years
There's no
ago.
traffic court. They're processing you as a criminal by going through there. The only thing they'll understand is to be prosecuted.
You're basically saying the court system exists because we're all bankrupt under this corporation, and that the reason the court exists is to try to extract as much money as they can from all these subjects that are bankrupt. That's basically what the court system is doing.
They're using you as the cash cow.
Yeah.
Okay? Because they create bonds against you when you walk into the court. There's at least 2, often 3 bonds against you. Bid bond, appearance bond, and the bid bond.
How much time did this chap get for growing sounds like he grew some hemp.
How much what?
How much time did he get?
Oh, he didn't get sentenced yet.
Oh, but
So
he's
it's still up in the air because he had a sentencing hearing delay. So we have to, the habeas corpus comes up next.
Is he in jail?
Yeah, the appearance bond got collapsed.
So okay. So he's in jail,
He showed up for sentencing.
The guy's in jail?
He showed up for sentencing. They couldn't sentence him, so they kept him. Which is another law they broke.
Oh man.
Right. I mean, you got to understand, and I'm being very clear, and I'm sure everyone knows that, but these criminal bastard bar attorneys are all part of this. I don't care if you're a bar attorney for Kinney's Shoe Company. You're part of the fraud. Crown Temple, foreign agent, stinking bar attorney, and you're bringing their friggin' admiralty bullshit onto our land, and you're helping the foreigners. Get out of the bar. It's a criminal pirate ring. Just all they do is they're enslaving Americans. I despise them. I think every time you have a chance or any excuse to prosecute one, do it. Get good at it. Get the skill going, you know. You need to pick up the things that you need to pick up.
Has anyone had any success doing this, David?
Yes. You wear them down. You wear them down.
Can you give me an example?
Plenty of people. Everybody goes after them. I've gone after them. I have the record that I know of. I think the record for the most of them running out of the courtroom.
Oh, great time, folks. We'll be back soon with more.
Thrilled. Mm-mm. Mm. Mm-hmm.
Welcome back to I'm Nature. I'm your host, Brian Porter. And this is the part of my program where I talk about the importance of supporting Revolution Radio, a platform with, I think it's close to 90 shows, all putting out very important information, alternative media on every topic you can imagine. My feeling is that it's a win-win situation when you subscribe to the archives, because then you're getting all this great information that you can download and listen to at your leisure, but you're also helping us out in supporting the cost of running the station. And for a meager, I think it's $4.95 a month, you can do yourself a favor and us a favor. And also check out the donate section of our website, freedomslips.com, to look at other options. You know, there's many different things that are advertised, purchasing seed and etc. Okay, so we'll get back to the topic tonight is on the issue of real freedom, becoming a private citizen, a sovereign, and my friends Neko and Zeeka down in Costa Rica are working on a project which I find to be extremely exciting. I think it's one of the few like it on planet Earth, and maybe they can just offer a bit of a history of what's going on down there, where they are, and what they're doing to set up this thing called a trust and allodium. So give us some background first.
Hey there. So right now we're on a raw food farm, and it's at the moment we're hanging out and we're eating a completely beautiful dessert right now, made out of nothing but fruit, frozen fruit. It's the most epic ice cream you've ever had, and growing right on the property here. All the fruit was right from the land, all organic and everything. And he's setting up an allodial title. It's for a sovereign community, basically.
Okay. Well, for those that don't know what an allodial title is, let's give them a bit more details on that one.
Okay, so it works like this. You get this, you pay off your mortgage, say 30 years, and you get this deed. And you're so happy because now you think you own your land. Look, everybody, I got the deed. And then really, you open up a law dictionary. And that's much different than a regular dictionary, because a law dictionary speaks legalese and a regular dictionary speaks English. So I open up this law dictionary and I look at the legalese and it says deed. And it says color of a title. Oh, well, let me go look up color.
that which is appearance in fact, but was not the real thing. It's cheap facsimile of the real thing. Okay? And then I go and I look up, okay, what's a title? Well, title is the ultimate ownership. So I've got a deed, which is a color of a title. It is not a real title. And you don't own it because the queen or somebody else owns your land. So what happens is that the governments have the allodial title, and then when they get a new trust, they will convey that allodial title into the next government. So each government is not actually owning the allodial titles of their own government. They will put it into another government, and they daisy chain them like that, like a Russian doll, forever, on and on, ad infinitum, ad nauseum, forever. You will never, each government does not have their own allodial title because they hold them that way so that nobody is actually owning the title. They're all managing the allodial titles. And then what that means is that if you don't pay your taxes, they'll kick you off your land that you thought you owned. So you'd never owned your land. So the only people in the world that can own an allodial title is somebody who is sovereign. And they know that. And that is part of the, like how David was saying, they want to take away your sovereignty. Well, who's this they? I don't really know, but somebody wants the allodial titles and doesn't want us to have the allodial titles. So I want my allodial title. That's all I know. It's very important. And you can have your allodial title.
You want to be like the queen, completely sovereign.
Yeah, you want your land. She doesn't pay taxes and get kicked off if she doesn't pay. And she doesn't have a building permit if she wants to add on to the back porch. Stupid. I mean, they're in law, the word tax literally means burden. And so what they're doing is they're burdening us human beings. These people are being burdened with someone else's nonsense that, well, they're not burdened. They just burden everybody else. It's not fair.
Why doesn't everybody do this? Why hasn't everyone figured this out?
Well, it's hidden. It's hidden so far. I mean, they've gone through great lengths to hide this knowledge. You know, I was reading something last night, and it was UN Habitat. So it was United Nations Habitat. It was one of those NGOs, and they said that they were very upset, and they wrote quite a few pamphlets I found on the internet last night about allodial titles, and they were saying that there is a group of people that the governments and other people have, the elite. They pretty much basically said the elite has this knowledge of trusts and of allodial titles, and that they have made it so that the poor people of the world are not in the position to have their allodial titles, and they're, you know, treated as where they've got to pay these taxes. And the UN Habitat group was making a big stand in front of the United Nations, and the United Nations actually approved it and said that it was true, that the poor people of the world need to be able to have more access to their allodial titles. So it's something that's recognized. It's not super underground. It's just not spoken about too much, you know.
And this is a recent document coming out of what was the name of the UN committee or whatever?
It's called UN Habitat. And you just look up UN Habitat, allodial titles. They have a bunch of documents that they're putting out trying to get the poor people of the world to be able to get their allodial titles. And you've got all these, you know, really fancy looking people in their suits and their handshakes, and they're standing there and they're all got the UN thing behind them, and they're all saying, yes, the poor people should have their dang allodial titles because somebody's taking them. And that's what they put in their documents. They said somebody's taking these titles. I mean, the problem is if we don't do something about it, you got a generation or two away and we won't have any more land. That's the problem. And if we don't have land, we don't have anywhere to go and grow food. We don't have anywhere to preserve nature anymore. Anything that we want to do, we have to do with land. So it's important. But there are solutions. That's the coolest part. They didn't take it and then not have a remedy. You just go back and say, I want my title. I mean, you don't go up to that. They're not going to give you an allodial title. You have to do it like through someone like us, or
Administratively.
there's a long process in America how they'll do it this way, or the United States. They'll go back to BLM. The Bureau of Land Management was the original trustees, and they were given all of the land. And they said, okay, when the American people want their land back, you're going to give it back. Bureau of Land Management kept it all.
Isn't the Bureau of Land Management new? Relatively new?
Well, not that I know of. I mean, is it new? Okay, let's put it this way.
I
United
thought it was
States was
fairly
given the land, and then they made the entity Bureau of Land Management, if that's how it is.
Well, to this day, BLM has the land grants, and you can go in there, get the original land grant, get the coordinates, because they subdivided it when they were dividing up the United States. Anyways, they subdivided it into 1,000 parcel acres, and then you have to go and find your coordinates of your property or your land, and then once you find your coordinates, you go to the BLM, get it all together. They have a land grant for you, and then you can you basically create your allodial title from there.
You do it like this. Mary bought it from Joe, who bought it from Sam, who bought it from whoever, and you get all the way back to 1700s. You find that original 900 and something acre land grant, or they'll call it a land patent. You get that original land patent or land grant, and then what you do is you just go on the bottom, you take your coordinates, and you say, I transfer this to my heirs and assignees forever. We don't do it that way because we consider anything you do by yourself a dictatorship, and you should do it in a trust with two people signing, which is a republic. So we do our allodial titles in two people signing as a republic, and you take it back that way. We do it a little bit different, but we do it the official way. We do it the correct way. But it's doable. That's the point.
Either way will work.
That what?
Either methodology will be effective.
Yes, but one is superior, and it's not the BLM way.
Okay.
The way that we're doing it in a trust is far superior.
And how many people in the United States have actually done this? Gone with the allodial trust?
The way we're doing it, probably very little.
There's a few people.
But as far as people having the allodial titles, there's quite a few.
Yeah. The people actually having the allodial titles, there is quite a few people that have that. And like Zeeka was saying, the UN group of people were posting it up, talking all about it. But for the most part, not a lot of people actually know how to do it.
Or even realize it's
or even
important.
realize it's there.
Yeah.
Well, was this some sort of a new revelation that happened at the UN with this?
You know what? Like I said, I was just going through the internet last night looking up allodial titles, and then I found those documents, and I thought, what? I can't even believe they're actually talking about it. And in the context of saying, and then these elite know about trust and know about the allodial titles, so here they are making it inaccessible for everybody else, hiding things. And they actually put that in their document. Oh, wow. People are trying to make a difference here. Those are the people trying to make a real difference. People got to have, we're eating the most ridiculous ice cream that you've ever had. It's completely vegan, out of fruit, dates in there, got some coconut shavings on the top right now.
I can hear you.
I am in ecstasy. And the point is that grows on land. They're trying to take all the land. I need my ice cream, okay? My vegan ice cream. Give me my land. Yeah.
So tell me more about this. Is about specifically where you are and what are the plans for this project? Does it have a name? This land?
We're keeping it secret right now, just because the topic. You got government officials coming by. Like last call we were on, we had a bunch of government people come by our website. So we're not trying to bring him into that. But if anybody is interested in his raw community, they can get a hold of us and we can screen you and make sure you're not a cop, and then we can send you over here. But it's great. It's 200 acres. It's got all the fruit trees in, huge waterfalls. Anything you need. It's got fresh running water, hot water, toilets, off-grid, everything you need.
It's got solar and
yeah, it's all running on solar.
Everything with all the structures are pretty much built from the land here.
Yeah,
everything's all natural. All natural. Yeah. Everything that we're eating, everything that our shelter, food, and water, everything is straight from the land. There's no outside source. It's off-grid. It's really great, actually. It's like Robinson Crusoe. It's Swiss Family Robinson, and in the jungles.
And how did you discover this place?
Just through friends.
You mingle everywhere.
Yeah, just mingling and becoming friends with people, and
everybody's a friend of everybody down here.
Yeah. There's a large conscious community here of like-minded people who are all all into the same type of stuff: agriculture and permaculture and veganism, raw food.
We were saying today there's a lot of masseuses and a lot of yoga going on.
They like the forest, so they do forest reforestation and animal protection. They're protecting the animals and allowing them to have a habitat here.
Yeah, one thing that we were doing today and we were working on is getting, in Costa Rica, weeds grow really fast. So there's a big problem with them using a lot of glyphosate for the Roundup. Glyphosate, is that what it's called? And so there's a huge problem with them just poisoning the land here. You've got all this organic, beautiful area, and then you'll have some people come out and they'll just start spraying the mountainside. It turns brown for 4 months and gets into the water streams. It's definitely a problem. So one of the things we were working on today is getting all of the neighbors working on some documents so they can go and get all the neighbors together to create a pesticide-free community. And they've got half of the community here is already on board. You just got to get the other half now. Who's going to do it?
You don't want to contradict yourself by going to the government and complaining. What you want to do is educate the community yourself, and
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Watch
solve
out
it
for
administratively.
Exactly.
The
It's none of their
black
business.
water now. What do they call themselves now? Academy. That's what
What
they're
is it?
I don't know. Blackswater Academy? Where's that?
Blackwater is the mercenary group.
They call themselves a security agency, but they're actually they create private armies to overthrow countries and.
So they hooked up with the World Wildlife Federation, Monsanto, and they're down in South America now, spreading GMO everywhere.
What?
Holy shit!
Are you saying that Monsanto has some mercenaries that help them get their shindig done?
The
Yes.
Monsanto army.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
It's Blackwater.
Well, I wouldn't put that past them. I don't know about it, but I wouldn't put it past them.
Monsanto bought Blackwater and changed the name. Goes by some of their organization, but there's no shortage of
XP.
there's no shortage of these armies.
They changed to XP, and now they're Academy. I wrote an article on it. You'll see it in the Liberty Beacon.
Oh
Yeah, we'll have to go
Wow,
check that out.
Crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
I'm gonna avoid those guys like the Black Plague. How about that?
Well, they went all over the map rather than what they did was they wore them down. Why do you think it is the way it is in Venezuela? They have all those gold and all that gold and all those diamonds and
Yeah.
They're
There's
starving.
resources.
People starve.
But I'm just curious about this trust and allodium for the land. So your friend there, what's your? Can you have his name? First name at least.
Oh, we're not telling his name because we didn't know if we should tell his name because we're on, on the just because of the topic. Because of the topic, I didn't want to align it with him.
No.
Lest they think he's a sovereign citizen, which is not the same as a sovereign. But
okay, your friend there. How long has he had this land in allodium?
oh, this is a recent thing for the allodium.
Okay.
This is within this last few months, yeah.
So he has. My question is this: has he actually been asked to pay taxes and refused to, based upon the allodium?
We haven't got to that point yet. And that is the debate. We were talking, his taxes are $100. I don't think he cares about the $100. Let's let it be that easier. You see what I mean? It's more like if the Chinese come in and say, hey, we want to take your land, then he's going to say, oh, wait a second, I have my allodial title. I think he's going to probably take that route.
Yeah, I mean, it's just $100 tax. Big whoop-de-doo. It's not like $25,000 or something.
I mean, I'm kind of hardcore, and I'm gonna go slap it on the records, or I'm gonna deal with it. But for $100, I wouldn't tell everybody to do that. And most people aren't as educated and to be able to deal with the municipalities either. So it is what it is.
But
Anything that's municipal is Rome. Just so you'll
yes,
know.
Right.
that is true. Yes. Yeah.
I was going to ask you when you were talking about BLM stuff, but I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
The BLM is giving out free land to those who are aware of how to go through the process.
Nice.
Oh wow.
just in case, since you guys are already somewhat adept, it seems, at dealing with them, then perhaps you should turn it into something that might benefit you.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
yeah.
What,
As
like
far as
homesteading
land,
back in the day or something?
well,
Yeah.
as far as the land patents go, forget about it if you're in the original 13 colony. That's the only thing I would say. Everything else is true.
Well, how does it differ if you're an original 13 colony?
They want nothing to do with you. they can't help with the titles in the land patent.
If you're
Those
from the
legal-
if you're from the state of the Union, you're actually domiciled
Yeah,
non-domestically, and that means you're a real American. And if
Yeah.
you are domiciled in any other state of, not the same as California state
Right.
of, it's the corporation. California state is the republic. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm in a state of the Union, I'm in America. If I'm in the other one, I'm domestic and in the United States, which is really only 10 square miles. Isn't that funny, guys?
Between the District of Columbia, between Virginia and Maryland.
Yes.
So,
The point is they got everybody
No, but
confused.
they also own the all the ports and the and the military bases, right?
Yes. Yes,
in-
militarily, yes. All of the forts and arsenals.
Yeah.
yeah,
Which in the U.S. is a lot of land. I know.
which is it? Hey, that's an arsenal. That's a military.
That's why they want to
is
have
that
army,
Article
an
1,
army
Section
on
8,
every-
Clause 17 of the Constitution?
Sorry.
Sorry, their forts and arsenals are in the Constitution under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17.
Which is the same place that they will bring you into a military tribunal court. So you've got
All their forts and
that's how
arsenals.
they get you in
And other
that court.
buildings, they say.
See, it
So-
should have been an American court.
I think David raised the point of Blackwater and these private armies. There's one. They're all over. I mean, there's evidently 6,000 of them in Ecuador trying to take out the Shuar people, kick them off their land. Now the Shuar people are probably some of the most fierce warriors on the planet, so they're going to have their hands full with them. But yeah, I mean, this is a problem. I think David's bringing this up. I mean, what you guys are doing is wonderful, and you may have Lordium, trust in a Lordium and all that stuff, but is it going to mean much if some mercenary army comes up and says, we don't understand this, but we've just been advised that you have to vacate your property.
Well,
So
people can do anything with guns. I mean, you're going to do as much as you can with as much paperwork and proper certificates and everything like that with the local, with privately. And I mean, anybody can do anything with a gun.
In the Holocaust, they didn't go around and just kill everybody. They killed everybody after finding out their status.
They were asking for their
Give me
papers.
your papers,
Papers, please.
and then I will kill you. If I
well,
know that you are
what you're saying is that it's actually it's gonna put you down the list of potential victims of a very unfair world in the military-industrial complex. You're saying if you have this allodium, trust in allodium, you feel you're better protected than the person who isn't.
I very much feel that way.
Yeah, I think so.
I absolutely feel that way
There's
because we know that there's a land grab. The whole thing's a land grab.
Yeah, pretty much.
there's no
Wait till everybody finds out they have a new landlord.
It's
Yeah.
not going to be good.
Yeah, it won't be good.
Oh, in the U.S., you mean when the Chinese, take over?
Took over.
Took over. Well, I mean when they.
Well, yeah, they bought all the citizens' surety. They bought all the citizens' birth certificates, which are the bonds. So of course they own everything in the U.S. Russia and China bought everything.
Yeah, somebody needs to pay him back.
How are they? Yeah, and the subjects of the citizens aren't able to question the debt, which is in the Constitution.
Are you feeling like a U.S. citizen today?
Absolutely not. Thank you
Never.
very much. Nor do I feel like a person. Thank you very much. Or a resident or anything to the matter.
Now, Neko, would you consider going to the government in Costa Rica and saying we'd like you to recognize this as
I think we're
formally?
going to do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we actually are. We started
Don't do
wrapping up our.
anything to get yourself tossed off a helicopter or anything.
We
Yeah.
won't. We won't. We're going to be very respectful. Like I said, we're working with and not against. So we're going to work with them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah,
I
this is
can't
the
see why
pilot.
you can't go to the roadshow. Yeah.
You get to work with our Air Force.
Well,
Uh,
the U.S. basically controls Costa Rica.
Well, Costa Rica's on Dun and Bradstreet registered as a U.S. corporation. So I mean,
Yeah.
all of their. I
So
looked up. I mean,
what?
North Korea. All of their
Yeah.
republics are.
Yeah, it's run basically by
Right,
the
it's
CIA.
Think about it. It's Central America. So we're still in America. It is
Yeah,
what it is.
if something happens where there's like a military issue or a threat or something in Costa Rica, there's U.S. subs are just gonna pop up out of the water.
Oh,
and
yeah.
just blast you.
You can always rely on Jorge Borgolia, Pope Francisco. He's an expert at murdering.
so why would you,
So
guys? Why would you want to register then with the government if you know it's basically CIA controlled? I mean, do you think there'll be?
we would never register anything with the government.
Yeah,
I
no.
would be alerting them that I have my allodial title at best. I'm going to be alerting them who I am. If you see me, get to know me. That's
Yeah.
but in a very nice way. I don't ever suggest people write the government. There's very few reasons why you'd want to write the government, but there are a couple. I mean, in general, I'm going to say stay away from that. And certainly don't write anything angry. Oh my God, don't write a mad stuff, dude. But sometimes you need remedy, It's true. Right now they consider us, foreigners, so they would say, oh, you're a foreigner, and they would consider us automatically, oh, you're a US citizen. So there might be some things that would be in our benefit. I would only suggest contacting them if there's a benefit out of it. And for us, a benefit of contacting them is to not be misconstrued in a wrong light and then have something happen. We thought might be better to do it up front. Now, it could be a stupid idea. We could alert them, and it opens up a can of worms. That's the whole thing about law. It's all a trial and error. And it never works the same every time. Nothing works 100% of the time ever. So that's the other thing.
Well,
You just play it by ear.
like,
do what you feel.
yeah, I mean, it would be an interesting test of where they actually see things. The interesting thing that's going on in the world now, though, there's a rise of nationalism, and evidently every nation in Europe is asking for a referendum, and there's going to be more and more countries leaving the EU, right? That's pretty much a given. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because of the Brexit vote. So, I think in the interest of not just yourselves, but the world in general, it would be good if you guys approached the Costa Rican government, and they probably may not even be aware that these sorts of legal vehicles exist, allodial trusts, and they might embrace it. You never know.
I don't think they're going to have a problem. After reading that United Nations habitat thing last night, I got excited and said, you know what, I'm just going to go slap this on there because it's legit and it is what it is. And there's nothing wrong with what I'm saying. And if somebody's got a problem with it, all we got to do is discuss it and be honorable and talk it out. Let's just discuss this because I really believe in my heart that my loyal title is legit. I know other people who are higher up, on the chain than I am who have their loyal title. And if they can do it, then I can do it. Why can't I have my title? It's my land. You know what I mean? So I'm all for it. We started writing it up last night. We'll approach them. We'll let you know how it goes. We'll have to do a 3-part process. It'll take a couple months. We'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, that would be fantastic because we've got to try to find a way to codify this stuff and protect others that wish to do this. I think it's a good, we have to, I believe we have to move beyond improving our own personal situation and expand it to a broader focus because, even the Kogi Indians of Colombia realized at a certain point back in 1980s, they came out of the mountains. Nobody even knew they were in the mountains in Colombia. Nobody even knew they were even there. And what we've been here like 500 years, the Spaniards and the conquests and the theft of all their land. But they managed to hide themselves. But they realized hey, there's a bigger planet here, and little brother is messing everything up. We have to talk to little brother. I mean, little brother is completely screwing up the biosphere, and they could see this everywhere, right? Even though they went out of their way to stay disconnected because they didn't agree with what they had done, right? So they hid.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
they effectively hid themselves for for 500 years. And it's
We got a friend
Yeah,
that
our-
does that with a tribe.
Yeah, our friend, he's actually, I think it goes next week.
Yeah.
And there's a tribe that's down in the Amazon. Our friend is a Qigong master, with moving energy and healing. And he got invited down there, and he showed us a really cool video a couple weeks ago of, well, I was kind of traumatized. So
Yeah.
they have this really pristine tribe that's never really been around, people like us. They're totally a tribe, right? With the little dots on their face and everything, right? And then they bring in this television, and they started showing them like 9/11 and like all. And the tribe members were like, "What is this?"
They were freaking
And
out.
they were like, "Oh my God!" So then they had all of their responses to all these things that have been going on, and then they showed them Michael Jackson. And one tribe member had made it to town one time, and when he went to town the one time, he knew who Michael Jackson was. So he said, "I know who I know what that is. That's Michael Jackson." Right? And they liked that. That was very pleasant.
only
That
thing
was
they did
pleasant
like.
to them. And the rest of the thing was pretty traumatizing. And then they asked him, "You guys are out here with sticks and bows," and then they showed him, this is how these guys fight. And then they showed him all these things blowing up.
No, they showed him They showed him Bikini Island.
Oh God, that was what they.
Yeah, they showed him
And
an
then-
atomic bomb.
Yeah, and anyway, it's very sad. But these guys are sovereign. They're down there. They've got their own. They're literally. I mean, that's as pure and pristine as it gets. I'm excited to hear what he says.
They were
about the fact.
traumatized by a lot of it. They were like, "That's what you do with your plants." Like
Yeah.
they were showing them how we garden. They were showing them just like the hedges in front of like Washington D.C. And they said, "How could you do that to your plants? I mean, plants are sacred. Plants are our sacred medicine here. We could never, do that, disrespect a plant like that." And there was multiple things that these tribes were very distraught about, looking at what our lifestyles and how civilization has become, and it was very sad.
That was pretty sad. I hope that they lift up their spirits when they go down there.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Well, that's my point, though. You see, you're actually reinforcing what I was saying about the fact that we have to start respecting natural ways again, and we have to get them these ideas codified in law, in government, because we all know. I mean, first time I heard about the Amazon and the deforestation there, they were freaking out. They said, "God, they've cut down 25% of the rainforest." Well, now it's at 75%.
Yeah.
94% of the seed now is gone. Original seed on this planet. We're doing so much damage that I don't care how natural you are and how Kogi you are or how these people. We're all going to be impacted because this machine just wants to it wants to engulf everything. So what I'm saying is, what you're doing is I just can't believe how beautiful you guys are and what you're doing there with your friend there in Costa Rica. I think this is great, but we have to find a way to make these ideas be commonplace, because if we don't, I mean, this machine is not going to stop. I mean,
our friend was just saying that you were exactly right, that we are a we. It's not an I anymore. And he's saying that we are a we, and we are being affected from each other's ignorance of not taking care of it.
Yeah. He's just saying, if you eat one hamburger, you're deciding that it's okay to waste 1,000 gallons of water.
Your water and my water.
It's outrageous.
Yeah, it's
everybody's
our
water.
water.
It's true.
Your water and my water.
Yeah.
Just one hamburger. Can you imagine that? By eating one hamburger, 1,000 gallons of water is pretty much down the drain that people can't get. And that's our water. That's not just your water. That's our water.
And for 1 pound of beef, you're wasting 15 pounds of grains and legumes, beans and stuff that could be feeding little kids. So you're eating this steak, and you could have fed 50 kids from that steak.
It's the most
Those are the kind of
sustainable form of
that-
eating. A vegan.
It's dumb.
I love veganism.
It's really stupid.
Yeah, I tried it for about a year, but it didn't quite work for me. But I have a deepest respect for vegans, and I'm sure if I was down there with you guys, I probably could find I'd find it a lot easier
Well-
to be a vegan.
Well, people too don't even realize. People don't even realize too. They just think,
damage.
oh, it's just food. They don't realize that there's
Damages.
there's a checks and balances in nature, and if we're going to feed more food to the cows, then we don't have more over here. If we're going to give them all the water, we're moving things, and then there's like
Yeah.
run. Oh, it's just the story goes down.
We
I-
start-
I-
We're using double the amount of land to graze cattle on than we are to actually grow food.
Yeah, that's.
So,
I didn't know that, but that's really dumb too.
it's oh no,
So-
extremely land intensive.
Our friend is inviting you down here to stay here, Brian. If you'd like to
You
come,
guys
and,
gotta come down.
he's inviting you here, and they got some places to stay, and he'll feed you and everything.
Well, thanks so
Next
much.
time you're in Costa Rica, we'll do the show from down here.
Passport. You guys got to get me a passport. Yeah, we got to work.
You do not have a passport?
Mm-mm.
Okay, audience, everybody needs a passport. What happens if you need to leave real quick? Okay, get a passport.
No, I'd love to go down there. I've had quite a few invitations from many people in eco villages to visit, and I got to get this passport problem dealt with. Although I could,
You've got all kinds of friends down
I'm
here.
quite adept at breaking the law. I don't seem to get caught very often, but it'd be nice to have a passport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got all kinds of friends down here, so we're waiting. That'll be great.
No,
But, yep.
See, what you're doing is you're basically doing what I've been advising people to do now since I started my show. I actually designed my first eco community like 4 years ago, and I just out of just studying philosophy and politics, and then I realized, hey, the natural way of living is the way we all have to live. It's the only way we'll sustain the planet is if we live the way what we are, and that's nature.
Yeah.
Nature, everything is the solution. Naturalizing all processes. I mean, how do we get away with like producing stuff to sell if it's toxifying everything? I mean, it shouldn't be allowed. Everything that
It shouldn't be allowed.
everything that we need, we can pretty much produce from hemp. If there was one plant on this planet, hemp could pretty much meet all our needs. Just one plant, let alone all the other ones. There's no need to be doing this toxification. It's absolute insanity.
It's unnecessary.
The money god promotes this. So we really have to defeat the money god. That has to be our first.
Yeah.
The money
Put your
god.
money where your mouth is.
And well, the money
It is
god
the money
also
god. Yeah.
connected to this legal matrix, which is messing. Oh, I mean, it's the foundation of everything. That's why the sovereign stuff is so important for people to understand, and that's why I keep bringing it up, because it really is. To be sovereign is to be natural. And natural people are free, like these beautiful people in Brazil. They are still free. They are still completely connected to the land. They talk to the plants. They see the nature spirits, right? I
Oh,
would be
yeah.
surprised.
Yeah.
The Kogi
Yeah, our
go
friend
to
said he's.
Luna. The Kogi go to a place
Yeah.
where they all live. I mean,
Yep.
it's truly this planet. See, what people don't realize, we got everything backwards. This planet is actually heaven. You don't have to go to heaven. It's right here, but we don't see it.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
sharing it with people.
Sharing it with a bunch of dunderheads.
I mean, people, why do you think spirits incarnate? Because spirit is great, but when you incarnate, it's a cool thing to do. It's just one way of expressing ourselves. It's not like it's a lower level. It's actually, I think a lot of spirit like to be in a body. It's not lower. It's actually an enhancement in a lot of ways. So we've got everything backwards.
Yeah, this place you get to, it's the physical and the spirit. It's all spirit, and here we get to enact our spirit. We get to
Yeah.
feel with our spirit. We get to
That's what
see and
I'm saying.
smell and all these senses, and
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, but once we reconnect with all that, people will say, "God, why did I ever want to live in a city in a concrete jungle?" I mean, it's insane because you're
Worse.
missing out on so many of the beautiful experiences of this planet.
Yeah, you miss
Well,
out
here
on
and there,
the
I like to
planet when
visit.
you're in a city.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, there's cool things in the city.
I mean, that's interesting too, but I would have a hard time being there all the time. It sucks the life out of me myself. Where if I go out to connect to nature, it brings life back.
Well, there's a
into
lot
me.
of dead energy in the city, especially there's a lot of toxins just in the radio frequencies alone, going through power lines and all this internet
point.
Wi-Fi and all that stuff. That's very toxic. It affects your electromagnetics and it affects the water in your body because we're made of water. So all that stuff is just affecting it. And then not only that, I mean, there's cool people in the city, and then like everywhere you go, there's not very cool people in the city. Being in nature is grounding yourself and putting your feet in the soil and rooting in and understanding how nature works and how the bees and the birds and everything and the butterflies and everything just works together in nature.
Oh, it's incredible symphony. It really is. I mean, I live kind of in the city, but I'm sort of on the outside. But I think because I'm very natural, I attract a lot of natural life. I have birds everywhere. I actually had a peregrine falcon for like 3 weeks. I'm not sure. I went away for a while, and then I find things change quickly when I go away because I'm no longer there to attract them. But
Oh yeah.
Interesting things happen in my backyard. I mean, like last year, I had no apple blossoms, and then I'm looking in the fall. Look at the tree. There's one apple growing on this tree. Now, where the heck did that apple? It literally. I mean, I look at my tree every day. I didn't see all of a sudden out of nowhere an apple appears on my tree. Now, how did that happen? Well, that was that's nature spirits, right?
That's great.
Apples skip years too.
Oh yeah, but I mean, this apple was a miracle apple. I mean, it came out of nowhere. I mean,
That's cool.
And then every year my pear tree gets cleaned up in the fall. They take all the extra pears and they clean the ground too. They take all the pears that rotting on the ground. It's all gone. I think that's native spirits. The people who
I love pears.
Yeah. Well, they say fruit trees are extremely significant to native people who are on the other side. That
I could see that.
You shouldn't cut down fruit trees unless you get their permission.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's extremely important. There's some connection there, which I don't fully understand, but I'm sure some shaman can explain it to me. But yeah, I would never cut down a fruit tree. I let it die its natural life. And but no, it's a beautiful, incredible planet we live on. We're trashing it like unbelievable rate. And but you guys are setting a trend, a very positive trend, and it's just got to be exponentially replicated. And then we can fix
Yes.
it.
Over the past while, since we first came down to Costa Rica, there's been a lot of people that move here. I mean, it's really amazing. Like, it just keeps getting larger and larger and larger. But there was a lot of empty space here. So that's one of the reasons why we're thinking that we can do the loyal title here, because most of the land's not even recorded in their recording thing anyway. It's just like open. There's just so much land here. You know what I mean? And it's not, most of it's not really.
It's impresario. They call it impresario, which means my family has used it for a long time. So it's my land.
Yes. Yes. There's a lot of that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important. A lot of people are just starting to make their little ways to where they're supposed to be and setting up and getting back to nature, you know.
Well, I mean, if you the government to the idea of Lodio Trust versus impresario, and they might find that interesting because I don't think that most people want to actually have private title over there. First of all, it costs a lot to do that, right? Legally, to have private.
Yeah, the private title I think is a little bit.
Do you mean in someone's name, personally, or what do you mean private title?
Well, to me, yeah. To actually own the land, like through the the bar system or whatever you call it,
Yeah.
that costs a lot of money. But your system, your idea of the title, it's a much superior method, and it cannot be contravened by any government act or any corporate act, and that's why I think that they might find that very as a sort of a solution to the issue of impresario versus private title. It's sort of like a third way that makes more sense.
Yeah, you're kind of right. Yeah, you're right about that. That makes perfect sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're true here. They got a whole weird system. Their whole system here is so weird. Like,
The big thing is the thing that's hardest for people to understand is that we actually can produce everything we need locally, and therefore we can phase the whole government out completely, pretty much.
Just tell that to the Zionist bankers
Yeah, that's
who have sold your grandchildren's future.
Yeah.
Who are
You are
training
right,
the
though,
police across America.
I
you are right though
yeah.
about doing stuff ourselves and then cutting out the big money. I don't know about cutting out the government, but certainly if you had things locally and did it yourself, you're going to cut out big money who is all funding the government. So, you know, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
We can do stuff. People who give up hope are ridiculous. You can't give up hope. You have to do something. And
You don't wanna give
it's a
up hope.
holographic universe, right? Yeah. If it's a holographic universe, when I do something in my world, it's going to reflect into the whole. So you might as well try. Oh my God. You know?
So yeah, our
Just
our
want to
friend
know
actually.
who your enemy is.
Before the show, David and I were talking about the Shaolin monk, who I think are probably the most advanced people on the planet, because what they did is they combined the knowledge of the Vedic wisdom with the knowledge of the Chinese kung fu fighting system. So they have both the best of both worlds. They can go anywhere they want in the universe because they meditate 6 hours a day, but they also are the toughest sons of bitches you'd ever want to deal with in a fight. So they got both
Right?
angles,
Yeah.
right? They're basically the strongest
Yeah.
people on earth, pound for pound. So you can't mess with these guys, but there isn't a violent bone in their body. I mean, they literally go out of their way not to hurt people who try to hurt them. This is how evolved they are. But I think David's getting a certain logic to his point. He said we have to become strong, okay, not individually but also collectively to defeat these dark forces they're out there, and they're. I don't think they're going to just say we give up because you started a loyal trust. We see your ways better. We like it. No, they're greedy, and they're not going to want to give up what they own and what they control. And
Well,
that's
they're
where-
entitled to the world. Don't you understand, Goyam?
yeah.
You are slime, according to them. Now, who else would think like that?
Explain.
What could be below a Satanist?
Explain
Think about
Goyam.
this. This is the conflict in terms of their philosophy.
What
Only a Satanist would think that others were below them.
David?
So how could anything be below a Satanist? So they've lost reality already.
David, what's a Goyam?
A Goyam?
That's what the
Goyam slave.
Did you just ask that?
Yeah.
the low life slime that aren't of the Hebrews. Okay.
Okay.
Now
Who
the
is
thing
it?
is, the people who use that are not either. That's the beautiful part. They love to use that word anti-Semitism when they are not Semitic. Okay.
Right.
So what has happened is everybody's been hoodwinked so that for a long time, people who are exposing it will look like some kind of Jew hater or something. When the Jews themselves are protesting these morons. I grew up in a Catholic family, Catholic school, Catholic church, Catholic. But it's not the Catholic people that are the problem. It's the Vatican. It's Rome. Right? So these Zionist cuckoos, these fruitcake, demonic, satanic Jesuit Zionists are ruining the whole planet. And it's time that the world woke up to it. I don't think that it's going away. I think the word's out. You know, it's getting across America faster every month. No, it used to take years of advancement and spread of the news to replace what's going on now within just a few months. Everybody's figuring it out. You know, and the bankers are the ones stealing your land, and the enemy, their foot soldiers on the ground, are the bar attorneys. The bar are all representing the crown. So right off the bat, that's treason. They're from here, and they're taking oaths to the crown. It's the Crown Temple Bar. And they're stealing our land, and they're all working for these crazy Zionist Jesuit bankers.
Well, are you saying, David, that we have to find a way to make natural law the real law of this planet?
Yes.
Of each country?
Yes.
Yeah.
Start out here. Because as the Indians would say, we'll never be free if white man isn't free.
Oh, that was deep.
Yes.
That was deep.
Okay,
Zeeka says all roads lead to Rome.
That's what
Apparently
they
all
do.
roads lead to Rome.
that's what they do.
Has
So
anybody
how do you get
tried?
back
Is
to
anybody,
Rome?
guys? Anybody aware of anyone who tried to create a natural law political party?
I think there's been like 100 million people try to. But that's common law, pretty much a natural law of humans,
Yeah.
right? A million people try to do that. I mean, and there's some success by doing some stuff.
Oh, so people have,
in general.
Those parties are all rigged anyways.
but they've
Laws
actually
and-
tried to go public with the information and convince people that the common law, natural law makes more sense than the system we've got now.
Well, the numbskulls have to pick up their pants, and because they walk like penguins, they're like penguins running around because their pants are on their ankles. They're so in love with someone else taking care of them, right?
Right.
It's a wonder that you can't get diapers, just by over the counter diapers for these, Depends or whatever they need. The first thing that comes out of their mouths when you tell them to get out of it is they say, "Well, what about my benefits?" Well, when I hear that, you don't know. You don't know. It's like giving me a 220-volt shock because it really gets under my skin when I hear people say that because I hear it so often. That's the first thing they say usually. What about my benefits? Well, every rat trap comes with free cheese. Okay. So there's your benefits.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I love his analogies. Okay, guys,
What we need to do is give up this money.
we should say or just give out our information, contact information, because I think we're gonna. There might be a new show coming on. I'm not absolutely certain yet, but it could be coming on. So I may have to give up the studio very soon. So why don't we get the contact information out about Soul Rain and David, if you want to put some out there, it's up to you. But let's just get that down now before we run out of time. So Soul
Okay.
Rain.
If anybody wants to get in touch with us, you can get a hold of us at soulreign.com. That's SOULREIGN.com. SOULREIGN.com. And that's soul reign because the soul reigns in the body, which means sovereign.
Soul
I am
reigns.
soul and I reign over my body.
Beautiful name.
And we'll help you with your trust or with your sovereignty certificate. If anybody wants a sovereignty certificate, we give them out and all that stuff.
It's free of charge for a sovereignty certificate.
Yep.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, for anything for free, something so profound. This is just beautiful. You're obviously you got natural, beautiful, loving energy in you, and I love that. Okay, David, what about you? Do you want to talk to anybody?
No, I'm no,
He's good.
I'm good.
No. Well, David does public education through the Liberty Beacon. He goes under David William. You read his articles. Yeah, he's pretty busy. I mean, he's helping a lot of people, and I don't think he has too much extra time right now.
Well, I'm going to stop. I will continue to inform the people and write and research, yes. But I'm all done helping individual people because they make things a shambles. They are really, truly in rough shape mentally.
Mm-hmm.
People, one example comes to mind to make it quick is one particular one who worked with me for 2 years. And then the last minute, she goes right to an attorney and they handed her butt cheeks to her in court. See, the hiring attorneys is what gives you to the court.
Precisely.
Because you become a ward of the court. You become the incompetent imbecile, as it's legally put. Because if you have to go in there pretending that you're now, you're not the beneficiary anymore. Go ahead. Yeah, you'll be the trustee.
So Bruce made it on a call. There's only a couple minutes left, but Bruce just got on. And one of the things that he was saying is really cool is about a land project about growing food down here. That's really cool. Getting people's lands that